person is able to make the first blessing on the food for his fellow. However, we've restricted that possibility to bread and wine alone. In other words, it's only for bread and wine that one person can make the bracha for another. This has something to do with the importance of bread and wine, the way Chazal understood the special place of bread and wine in our culinary minhagim. But other brachot that are made on less important kinds of food, like fruit, for example, then every person is expected to make the bracha himself. Except, of course, those fruits that are eaten as part of the meal. And then one person can make the bracha for his fellow. And somehow that's because since they're eating together, they have participating in the Seudah together, that togetherness works also for the peirot that he has to make a bracha on in the meal. And the same is true about wine. Where there's a lot of wine, and it's common that people determine the meal around the wine. Then if they're eating together, these people are eating together, then one person can make the bracha on the wine and be appropriate for his fellow. But in places that this is not the minhag, that they don't usually determine the meal around the wine, then it's better that every person should make the bracha on his own. So in general, we understand that in order for a person to make a bracha, which would also be appropriate for another person in these birkot hanehanim, there has to be, the food has to be what ties them together. So when it comes to bread, that is the case, and when it comes to wine, that is often the case. But when it comes to peirot, if you're just eating, ice cream, then you can't really make the bracha for your fellow. So you have to say shahakol on the ice cream, and he has to say shahakol on the ice cream. If you're standing together and making the bracha, and you're making the bracha together, each one has to make the bracha for himself.